Hello, welcome back. If you're new, Adebusola, is lovely to meet you. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the best time to eat for weight loss. Does when you eat affect your weight loss as much as what you eat? Well, let's find out. It's a known fact that weight loss goes beyond just counting calories, and that is why a lot of diet approaches focuses on the food quality and your macronutrient. While that will help a lot of people lose weight, the simple truth is that there are some other factors such as biological and environmental factors that we need to pay attention to maximize your weight loss success. One of these factors is the impact of meal timing, the time you eat your meals. How does this impact your weight loss success? Over the past years, a lot of studies and researches on meal timing. There are different studies and different approaches, but the goal is still, does the time you eat your meals, does it impact your weight loss success? Over the years, the conclusion is that yes, the time you eat your meals impact your weight loss success. So let's look at the perfect timing for weight loss. So when are the optimal times to eat for weight loss? The simple truth is that this is going to differ from one individual to individual depending on each individual's lifestyle. So there are no general timing like, okay, eat breakfast by 6 a.m., eat lunch by 2 p.m. and then eat dinner by 8 p.m. But there are general recommendations. Starting from the least controversial one, dinner, we'll look at the best meal timing and then we'll proceed to lunch and then finally the most controversial one, breakfast. So when should you eat dinner? There's no special time that you should eat dinner, but the general consensus is that you want to eat dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, and then you close the kitchen and the refrigerator for the night. This method helps you to prevent late night snacking and helps you to burn as much calories as you can before you finally go to bed. So when you eat your dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed, you tend to burn some of it before you go to bed, knowing fully well that while you're sleeping, you're still burning calories, the resting metabolic rate, but you're not as active as you will be during the day. So you want to make sure that you eat your dinner 2 to 3 hours before you finally go to bed. Another benefit of eating dinner 2 to 3 hours before going to bed is that it gives more time for active digestion, because the truth is that when you go to bed on a full stomach, you're less likely to have the quality good restful sleep where you have where your hormones are regulated and then your leptin and your ghrelin are working perfectly, resulting in adequate weight loss. Another benefit of eating dinner early that is not so obvious is that it gives you a longer fasting time. So if you stop eating by 5 p.m. and then you eat your next meal by 8 a.m. the next day, that means that you're having roughly a 15 hours fast, as opposed to people who have 12 hours fast, maybe when they eat their breakfast by 8 a.m. and then they eat dinner by 8 p.m. When you have a longer fasting period, your body tends to burn fat more. It can go into the fat stores and help you burn fat more. And again, the benefit is that for those of us who are struggling with belly fat, we can adequately burn that belly fat faster because we have a longer hours of fasting. So that is another important benefit of eating your dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. And lastly, when you eat your dinner early, you're eating along your biological clock. You know, during the day, we are supposed to be active. We are supposed to eat during the day. And then we are supposed to sleep at night. So the biological clock, God has created our body that way. He has designed our body that way. So you're eating along your biological clock. And so your body and your hormones can function maximally the way it is supposed to. But this approach of eating dinner 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed does not work for everybody. That's the simple truth. It's not practicable for everyone. So if you have a lifestyle like mine, where you are working at night, you're doing night shift, you have to constantly be up during the night, maybe you're preparing for an exam or something, then you definitely want to watch till the end of this video where I will share things that can help you, things that have been helping me that I know will be of benefit to you as well. Now let's move to lunch. Lunch is what you eat during the day. I mean, within the first half of the day, you're eating your lunch mostly. But the time you eat lunch is not as important as making sure that you're eating a very big meal for lunch. Your lunch should be your biggest meals of the day. That way, you have enough energy to do your activities of the day. And don't forget that it's very late in the afternoon, closer to the evening, that we tend to feel peckish. We start having all those cravings. We are feeling famished. So you want to make sure that lunch is when you eat your biggest meal of the day. Again, it goes back to the circadian rhythm, the biological clock, that you're active during the day. And then you want to make sure that your body is properly fueled for the activities of the day. When you know that food is meant to be fuel and nutrition to the body. So the food is supposed to give us energy, and then it's supposed to nourish our body. So if you have that kind of mindset, you will know that, okay, it's important to prioritize lunch so that you can prevent excessive snacking, and then you can prevent having cravings that can totally derail you from your weight loss goal. Now, moving on to breakfast. Instead of asking, when should I eat breakfast? The common question of late is that, should I even eat breakfast at all? Is breakfast the healthiest meal of the day? Well, we know that we all fast, and breakfast is breaking a fast, meaning that for some hours we have been asleep, we have been inactive, and we have not eaten anything. For most people, it's roughly 8 hours. Mostly, maybe you eat your breakfast by 7 a.m. and then you eat your dinner by 7 p.m. Or you do breakfast by 8 a.m. and then you're eating your dinner by 8 p.m. Most healthy individuals, roughly, 12 hours plus or minus 2. And that is fine for a lot of people. But for some people, where we begin to talk about the theory of intermittent fasting and how intermittent fasting also help with weight loss, we tend to prolong that fast. And then we skip breakfast. So rather than doing the average 12 hours fast, we want to increase it to about 16 hours. And then you're still eating your breakfast. The most important thing when it comes to breakfast is that you want to make sure that you're eating a healthy breakfast. You want to make sure that you're eating a breakfast that is high in complex carbs, protein, and healthy fat. You already know that my favorite includes overnight oats, omelets, avocado and egg toast, and the like. So for me, you can't go wrong with overnight oats, smoothies, avocado and egg toast. But I really don't like mentioning smoothies because a lot of people do not make their smoothie the right way. They make smoothie that is too loaded with fruit. So when you're making your smoothie, you want to make sure that your fruit is just one piece. At the maximum, you're doing two fruit. For example, if you're doing apple and a cup of diced pineapple, that's enough. Don't go and be doing a smoothie that is filled with 5 different fruits, and then there's even no vegetable sauce to add bulk and fiber to your smoothie, and there is no source of protein like your peanut butter, and there is no healthy fat like a little bit of olive oil, even if it's half a teaspoon. That is how to make a perfect smoothie. You want to have a source of healthy carb, a source of protein, and a source of healthy fat in your smoothie. When it comes to breakfast, however, the most important thing to bear in mind is that you can successfully lose weight either by eating breakfast or by skipping breakfast. So if you're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, maybe you eat your breakfast by 7 a.m. and then you end your meal by 7 p.m., you can successfully lose weight as long as you're eating in a calorie deficit. And if you're doing intermittent fasting, where maybe you're doing a 16-8 intermittent fasting, you're eating within an 8-hour window period and fasting for 16 hours. For example, you're eating your first meal by 11 a.m. and then your last meal by 7 p.m. So that's a good 16-8 intermittent fasting. You can lose weight with both methods. So really, you can do without breakfast, you can do brunch and dinner and a snack in between, and you can do your 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner and snack in between, as long as you're within a calorie deficit, and you will still lose weight. I believe that tweaking your meal timings and eating habits can have a substantial impact on your weight loss success. So if you are not comfortable with this rigid meal timing, or it doesn't suit your lifestyle, or you don't even know where to start, here are a few tips that I promise can be of help. Number 1, eat breakfast, but not necessarily in the morning. Like I earlier said, breakfast is just when you break your fast. So whether you're doing a 12-hour fast, a 14-hour fast, a 16-hour fast, 18-hour fast, the most important thing is that you're breaking your fast with a very healthy meal, a meal that is high in complex carbs, protein, fat, and fiber. I have 2 videos on meal prep that can give you ideas on what to eat for breakfast. I will link them in the description box below. Number 2, prioritize eating during the first half of the day. Make sure that you're eating the majority of your calories during the first half of the day. That way, you're not running on low fuel, you're not having low energy, you're productive at work, you have energy to do whatever it is that you're doing, So it's important that you eat most of your calories during the first half of the day. Number 3, make dinner early and light. For your dinner, you're looking at roughly 300 to 500 calories. So when you do this, it helps you to prevent late night snacking. So you want to make sure that you're intentional with your dinner and you're making it early and light. You can eat your dinner as early as 6 p.m. if that is what works for you. But if you are doing a night shift, you're doing a type of job where you have to be awake most part of the night, and the simple truth is that when you're awake most part of the night, you tend to want to snack, you feel peckish, you want to eat something. So what I recommend is that you keep about 200 to 300 calories to eat at night. That way you will not exceed your calorie intake and you still achieve your weight loss goal. You want to make sure that you're snacking on foods that are high in protein, like yogurt, grilled fish or chicken, and you drastically want to limit simple carbs at night. Say for example, you want to snack at night and you take gari and granite. 1 cup of gari is 330 calories, and then granite, one granite is 5 calories. So let's say you do 20 granite, and I'm dead sure you're going to eat more than 20 granite. So that's 100 calories. That's about 430 calories. If you now decide to add sugar or honey, imagine you're getting close to 500 calories. If you even do honey, 1 tablespoon of honey is 60 calories, and you probably do more than 1 tablespoon. So that's like, if you're a female now, that's roughly half of the amount of calories you should eat a whole day to lose weight. So you definitely want to tone it down with simple carbohydrates when you are feeling peckish at night. But 4 is that you want to make sure that there's at least 12 hours between your dinner and your next meal. If you eat your dinner around 1 a.m., then you want to make sure that you're not eating by 8 a.m. again. Come on! If you eat a large meal by 1 a.m., then you want to make sure that you do not eat any meal until about 1 p.m. the next day, so that your body can have ample time to digest the food that you have eaten at night, and then it can even go into stored fat for energy so that you can burn that fat. But if you eat around 1 a.m. and then 7 a.m. you're eating breakfast again, then you eat lunch, you eat dinner, and then you're eating midnight, and then you're eating very early in the next day, you'll probably not achieve your weight loss goal. So if you eat during the night, you want to make sure that you give your body at least 12 hours before you eat your next meal. And also don't forget that all this meal timings that we're talking about, it's so important that you're mindful of your portion, because what shall it profit a man to stick to these meal timings, but when you're eating a very, very large portion of food, you will also not achieve your goal. So while meal timing is important, the quality and the quantity of your meals is equally important. But if you can combine the two together, you will be amazed at your weight loss results. While everything I've mentioned in this video are general guidelines, if you have a chronic health condition like diabetes, you should consult with your doctor if these timings are significantly different from the timings you're used to before you do this. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and do not forget to subscribe. Subscribe to my channel, it's free. Until next time, stay fit and healthy. Bye!